Indian history and what we will be dealing in our class. What is our work? What is your work? This is the thing. Let me be very clear. So as usual, we will be doing the previous year questions. And we know in history there are three components. I'll start with modern India. Then we'll come to ancient and medieval. Ancient and medieval history. Now, people will be saying we have to study culture again. Culture is not a separate thing. Culture goes with these things itself. Whenever we study medieval kingdoms, mix it with the medieval kingdoms culture. Culture is not a separate thing, right? Whenever there is some kingdom, culture is associated with it. So, culture should be integrated with it. That is my way of studying this. You might be having your own way, but how I will teach is, say if we take Mauryas, we'll finish it at one go. Mauryas, what is the art, what is the architecture, right? What is the literature? This is all cultural things. So along with the political things, they are not asking political things for UPSC Prelims as far as this is considered, but they are focusing on cultural aspects. So when I come to this, I will integrate culture here itself. So there is no separate discussion of culture. Culture goes with this. That is the reason if you look at NCERTs also, they don't give culture separately. Whenever they discuss some chapter, they will give that discussion in the culture. So if you look at 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th NCERTs, old or new, they have integrated there itself. But in the 11th class, you have one separate book called culture book separate. Andro kuda emuntayante, you will find only those things which they have covered in every kingdom. So the best way to prepare culture is to integrate with the kingdoms itself. Now why that is important? To integrate with the kingdoms. Because whenever they ask cultural questions, they will link with the kingdoms. So we should have that clarity first of all, which kingdom is present at what time, what is the culture present there, and then we can easily relate these questions. So don't read separately the culture. This market has created somehow, but what I feel is it has to be going in integration. So this is the first one. Now let me tell you what are the questions or which type of questions are being asked in history and what is the thing. So previous year questions, from previous year questions I will be taking in this format: modern, ancient and medieval. You will be provided with the material, PDF material of the questions from the institute itself. So this is first one. Now whenever we take the previous year questions, say for example if they are asking about some dynasty, we'll discuss about all the aspects which is related to dynasty. We'll finish at one go so that all the aspects will be covered. So it will be like a quick revision of the entire subject also, right? And it is very easy compared to other topics. This is going to be very easy. The only thing that we have to do is there will be some static component that you have to by heart. Extreme static component is here, right? There will be some 30 pages static or 40 pages static. You have to by heart it. There will be direct questions which they will be lifting. So which type of questions that they are asking? If you look at the history, particularly the ancient and medieval, there is political as well as cultural significance. In the political dimension, they are not asking the questions which king has come first, what is their chronology. These questions are not coming. So who has been the founder, who has created this, which fellow has killed whom, who has conquered this land. These questions are not visible in UPSC of late. Look at from the past 10 or 15 years, this is not there. Even look at NCERTs, new NCERTs, they have reduced the political histories. What they asked is, they focus on culture. They focus on culture. So whenever we read history from the dynasty point of views or kingdom point of views, we have to focus on the cultural significance. That is, there will be some static component here that we have to by heart. In the second way of asking this question, in politics, though they are not asking the chronology of the kings, they are asking the chronology of the kingdoms. In a particular kingdom, they are not asking what is this chronology, no. But what they are asking is, they will be giving you some kingdoms and they will be asking you to keep in the chronology. Who is the oldest, who is the newest? Or the second way of asking the question is, within a contemporary period of time, within one time frame, who are the kings who are present in the north, who are present in the south, who are present in the east, who are present in the west. This is second way of asking the question in political history. So, say for example, during 300 BC, or after 300 Mauryas, who used to rule in the northwest, who used to rule in the northeast, who used to be present in the south. Like this they will be asking questions. Or what they will ask, during the times of Harshavardhana in the north, who is the king in the south. So what you have to understand is there is some difference here. Within a kingdom, though you are not studying the concepts of chronology here, what you have to understand is you have to understand the evolution of the kingdoms. There should be clear clarity on how the kingdoms has evolved, which kingdom was present at which point of time. Time scale should be very important. E clarity andarki undali. Then that will give immense boost. Itvanti questions answer cheyadaniki. Rest of the things, cultural history is not that important. The only thing is ఒకసారి అర్థం చేసుకున్న తర్వాత 4 సార్లు చదివితే గుర్తుండిపోతుంది, బై హార్ట్ చేసుకునే కాంపోనెంట్ కాబట్టి. This is only some point where it is creating some trouble. Second one. So this is for ancient and medieval. When it comes to the modern, out of all the history components, modern is one of the easiest way to score the subject. Why? In modern, if you concise the entire history, this will be only of 4 chapters. The first one is the so-called the advent of Europeans, how the Europeans has come, and the decline of Mughals. This is first chapter. With the decline of Mughals, Europeans will be ascending. So this is first chapter. We have to look at it. So where you will be studying about all the European kings coming here, or European kingdoms coming here and fighting. This is first chapter in modern history. They are asking one question in this. After that, in this Europeans, the second chapter starts. That is Britishers, how Britishers are conquering this land. So the conquest of British people starts here. So second chapter is about conquest of British, or the rise of British. Third chapter is British policies. So in the rise of British, they are asking one question. The third one is policies of the colonial master, that is British. What are the policies? In these policies, there will be 3 or 4 different types of policies. We have to look at it. Revenue policy, judicial policy, civil services policy, right? Land reforms policies. If they have done something, we have to look at that. So this is third chapter. The fourth chapter is movements. As they are bringing out with the policies, there will be some movements. So we have to study what are the various movements. The movement starts with the so-called Indian Sipahi mutiny. Before that, we'll have tribal movements, peasant movements, workers movements, women's movements, right? Socio-religious reform movements. These are the 6 major movements that happen before the actual movement of freedom fight starts. So the last topic is Indian national movement. So before this movement, there are 6 movements. The questions will be asked in this dimension. There will be 2 questions here. Indian national movement, very simple, because Indian national movement, entire Indian national movement is divided into 3 phases. Right. First one is the moderates, the extremists, and the Gandhian phase. So what are the events which has taken place here? And in between moderates, extremists, and Gandhian phase, there is one thing called the revolutionary terrorism phase, or revolutionary phase. There will be one question there. So this is what history is. Modern Indian history is as simple as this. So what you have, advent of Europeans, decline of the British Mughals. Second one is conquest of this land by the Britishers. Third one is policies of these fellows. Policies is important. Fourth one is movements. In the movements, there are pre-independent movements like peasant, Sipahi mutiny, first war of independence movement, Sipahi mutiny, socio-religious reform movements, tribal movements, and then you have women movements, peasant workers movements, these things. అక్కడ ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతున్నారు. తర్వాత ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్ లోకి వస్తాము. ఇందులో 3 phases. ఈ phases లో క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతాడు. దిస్ ఈజ్ మోడర్న్ ఇండియన్ హిస్టరీ. Post independence, you do not have much questions again. Post independence, they are not asking the questions. Post independent questions will be seen in polity. Polity లో విజిబుల్ అవుతుంది. Polity in the sense, ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఏ విధంగా ఫ్రేమ్ చేశారు, అసెంబ్లీలో ఎవరున్నారు, ఏం కథ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా లక్ష్మీకాంత్లో ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. దట్ ఈస్ కనెక్షన్. సో ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్ హియర్ with the questions itself. I will go. I don't take separately the classes. I will take with the questions itself. Whenever we are discussing the questions, we will discuss these components. Then that will be clear. Right. Again, what should be your source? So this is my work. You know what I am doing, in which format I am doing. So my work is very simple. I am going to cover previous year questions and I am going to cover this in this way. What is your work? You have to do, you complete the quiz material, whatever that is left. Second one is test, right? You do that test from your end, belonging to history. These are the two things that is expected from you, and by hearting component there will be something. Whenever I say something by hearting, you have to by heart it. Once you by heart it, this will be useful for any exam. This is third component that you have to do. So I'll take somewhere around 15 days to complete the entire history. We can complete it. The classes, I'll start modern Indian history at 5:30. Slowly I'll come to 5 o'clock as ancient and medieval starts. Right. So modern Indian history I'll start at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 to 7:30. Here it will be from 5 to 7. This is another thing. The last one that I wanted to say is, after this, I'll be discussing CSAT. CSAT, I'll be discussing how to attempt comprehensive questions. But before that, some students have already met me again. They said that their time period was reduced. So the first question that I said you is, or the first work that I gave you in CSAT is, aptitude reasoning is your part. In the comprehensive part, what I said, you have to do, improve the speed of reading. Right. So it should come around 3 minutes for one editorial. This is what the challenge that I gave. A few people said that they have achieved and they are getting somewhere around 2 hours, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So that is completely good. So carry with the same tempo. Inka veelautu 2 నిమిషాలకు తగ్గించండి. That will be very fine. Once it is reduced, then I will come to this comprehensive passages, how to deal with this. So my next topic of discussion will be comprehensive passages. Then I will go to polity. Then I will go to how to reduce the errors. Then I will discuss about what is the error reduction in prelims. By that point of time, you should have completed 25 tests. Right. By the time I come to discussion of errors, after discussion of errors, you have to start full length test. Up to that point of time, finish this individual test as early as possible. This is your work for the upcoming 20 or 25 days. Right. This is about history. Tomorrow I am going to start with it. Thanks for joining. I will be here for a couple of minutes. If you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can leave.